The Arsenal battled to a 1-0 win today against PSV Eindhoven at Emirates Stadium in their Europa League match week 4 showdown. This pretty much cements their place at the top of Group A. I am battling a bout of strep throat, but I will push through for you because you like it, you love it, you want more of it. Here we go. What's up, everyone? Welcome into Arsenal Aftermath. I really need to change that intro because it's very, apocalyptic. I mean, we won, yet you listen to that music or whatever that is that's with that intro, and it just sounds very like end of days kind of stuff. But yeah. First of all, before we even get into the actual match itself, I what were your thoughts on the I'll say the color analyst with CBS Sports, like that dude?
Ray Hudson.
There were moments where I was like, this dude, I'm gonna have to mute this. There were other moments where I was like, okay, he's actually kind of funny. So what were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to games with him before. It was definitely a surprise.
I think that's first.
Yeah, I was a little surprised it was him, but it was a pleasant surprise. And I think Mike from the Gooner's pod, Magic Mike, tweeted something similar. It was definitely a pleasant surprise. Great commentator. He keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like, I think I want to say I was a little more invested into the game, or I shouldn't say investing in him. I was more on the edge of my seat because of his commentary. But yeah, Ray Hudson's great.
He's entertaining, I'll tell you that. And he's got some great one-liners. Got in smoother than the slide of a trombone. Love it. That was fantastic. There was something about being cooler than a koala's backside at one point in there. I think I really should have written these down when he said them.
Slipperier than a trout in the dishwasher.
Yeah, slipperier than a trout in the dishwasher.
That
one was good too. Oh man, that hurt. I gotta take it easy because seriously, my throat is like on fire right now. Talking doesn't really bother it. It's swallowing and insert joke here. Yeah. Line that one up for you. But anyway, yeah, overall for me, it's hard to look at this and it's like the performance today is what I wanted to see on Sunday against Leeds. Like we really dominated most of this match, just couldn't finish, right? I mean, that's the name of this game is just not being able to finish. Probably should have beat them. I wouldn't say should have beat them because I think they defended well enough to not. Obviously, they defended well enough not to concede. I don't think it was necessarily 100% down to us just flubbing our chances. There were a few, obviously, that certainly left us wanting. Eddie had a couple of them, but overall, I think they were sitting back trying to play for a draw. It just really seemed like to me, they were content to just come in here and just, try to hold on for dear life to try to play out a draw. What say you?
I mean, PSV are a good team, and I was expecting. I won't lie. I was expecting a little bit of a tougher game. I think we dominated them. I think they play a little block, but I think even the commentator said that when they play against teams of their caliber and higher, they tend to sit back and absorb the pressure. So, yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game. Kind of what you were saying before, we just couldn't finish, and it's funny enough, I actually put this in my notes, but the tip is in. We just need a thrust, and that was kind of the lay of the land for the entire game. We were right there.
Are you saying that we're like 14-year-old boys on our first prom night here? Or
No, I would say,
like the tip is in, and like that's it. We've got nothing left. Like
no,
the tip is in. It's like,
I think
oh.
I think we're in our 20s and we're living our best life. But no, I think to me, it was a night and day performance between this and Leeds. I just think our passing was smoother. Our technical ability was just leaps and bounds above. We played with the confidence that we should always have, no matter if it's our A squad or our B squad or a little bit of a mix of it too. But yeah, no, I think we played so well today. I almost think it was almost we played better than what people are saying. I think we were just so good. We just the pass from Fabio Vieira in the first half and Gabriel did that turn, and all you had to do was put a touch on it. It's just little things like that, which are going to be easily fixed on the pitch. But again, like you alluded to, and I agree, they defended really well, and they're a team. I don't want to say they're not good defensively. That's a little bit of a stretch, but they're known for their attacking prowess. Their defense is probably, I don't want to say it's weak, but again, if you had to pick a weak point in their team, I guess it would probably be their back four.
Yeah, something that struck me, and it doesn't happen all the time, and I can't say that it happens against a particular type of opponent. There are moments when I'm watching us play, and I know we want to overload the wings, be it the right or that's how we want to play. But there are times when, man, there is just a gulf of space in the middle. And if someone could just get into that space, I'm not saying anything would come of it, but there were times today I'm watching and I'm just like, somebody find that space, someone get in there. And I feel like it should have been Fabio Vieira. And it just, I don't know. It's just one of those where I'm like, we are going to try to work the ball back to the middle of the pitch from the wings. But it's one of those, man. I don't know. Did you notice that? Is it something that you would notice? I just feel like there's a lot of space when we have the ball and we're pushing forward. There just seems to be an area of space in the middle that just you feel like there's got to be a way to exploit that and come up with something. Yet we seem to want to move the ball out to Gabriel or Saka or if it's Jesus or whoever might be out wide. And try to let them then create from out wide. I'm just thinking of another way to try and attack things and break things down. I feel like if you tackle it head on, from the middle, you've got a better opportunity to break it down. Whereas if you're coming in from the wings, you're sort of hemming yourself in with the proverbial, 11th defender, 12th defender, meaning that, the touch lines. The space in the middle of the park for us, sometimes it baffles me that we don't take advantage of it.
I actually disagree with you. I agree that we leave the middle of space open, but that's why we have Jesus. That's why we had Lacazette last season. Despite what people may have thought of his play, but they come back, they drop back into that space. But I don't think that's a necessary thing for us. I think Gabriel Jesus does a really good job in the middle. I think you had players like Eddie, players like Saka tucking in. They took their space a few times, and we're also a team that loves to switch fields and change the side of the ball, which I think is huge. And if you can kind of leave little, almost like I want to say like booby traps, leaving booby traps on the pitch. I think we do that in the middle a lot, and other teams take the space, and we could it enables us to do things on the other side of the field, or even on the side we're playing on currently. But as far as like building up from the middle, I don't like that, because I don't think that's our best way to win and how we play. It's funny because I actually said something similar to what you said during the game, but then when you watch us play, we scored a goal because we overloaded the sides. We left the gap open in the middle. Xhaka just floated back into it, and boom, goal. But you're better off creating from the sides and going in than being in, and then you're not going to dribble. You're not going to go, oh, wait. You're not going to go through to the middle into the 18-yard box or even near the 18-yard box and then facilitate out.
Right.
Because then you're just trapping yourselves in the corner, which is, I think, the absolute worst thing you could do.
Oh, absolutely.
In an opponent's final third. So, but yeah,
I think
I get what you're saying though.
No, you brought up a good point though, where you kind of almost think of it as I don't want to call it negative space, but hey, look at all of this open space here. Like you said, kind of booby trapping, which you're and you're right. I mean, Jesus, of course, Xhaka, just drops right back into that little bit of space and creates the goal. But I'm talking more in the buildup of the play. It just seems like it not build the attack from there, but build into building the attack from there. I don't know.
I also just think our wingers are just so talented. I think.
Well, and I mean,
Saka can do so much. Why?
Right.
Why build? Why have the play start with Odegaard when you could have Partey maybe make a few passes, maybe even dribble past a midfielder or two, and just work from there. To me, Odegaard is at his best when he's at the right outside the 18-yard box, where he's making those flicks and touches, or even when he just gets in the 18-yard box, he's making those little cuts and flicks and tips. And I think it wasn't him. I think it was Xhaka that did it. He kind of took that role with Odegaard not starting for us, but making those tips and flicks inside the 18-yard box. And he had that really nice, what was it, like a side, a behind the back side flick with his left foot to Eddie, and Eddie missed it. I think it was Eddie. Could have been Jesus.
Yeah.
When
Eddie had his back to going, it was just
yeah, it was just a little too much. But yeah, I think that's where Odegaard's best. And if we want to play up the middle, and I'm not saying it's the wrong way to play. I think you can play like that, but then you would need Odegaard to kind of play a little farther back. You would need more synergy between Odegaard and, I guess in this case, Sambi Lokonga. I just personally think that the way we're playing is more beneficial to our strengths. You kind of involve Saka and you kind of involve Martinelli into the game a little bit more. They're doing a lot more running, but someone like Saka, as we saw today, I mean, he was just every time he got the ball, at least one player in PSV was on the ground behind him, and he just dribbled past them.
Yeah, I saw a tweet, somebody Saka ending careers out here or something.
It was Saka. I mean, just on the ball stuff. I think this might have been one of Saka's best games for us. So yeah, I think he was just that good.
What was your take on the lineup? I know Eindhoven they're good. I mean, you said it at the very top of the show. They are a good side. They're second place. They're a point off the top in the Eredivisie behind Ajax. But they're good. They're a good side.
They have 11 goals in 3 games. I mean, it's pretty good.
Were you surprised at anything with the lineup? Were you surprised that the only thing that really surprised me with the lineup was Eddie and Jesus both in there together? And I'm actually going to shout out, our buddy Stan for tweeting this out, that it was a little. It was head scratching for me to see them both start, because it's okay, if you're going to sub one, who are you going to bring on? Obviously, the obvious answer was Martinelli, but boy, if God forbid something happened to both of them in this game, you're really leaving yourself short, especially heading into Sunday, which maybe we'll get into a little later on. But it surprised me to see Jesus and Eddie getting the start simultaneously.
I mean, yes and no. I think, that was the first thing that caught my eye. It was like, oh, they're both playing together. I thought it was interesting. Yeah, I guess I scratched my head for a second, but multiple things are at play. I think Eddie is our striker for Europa League, and I think he's done fairly well. Can he be scoring more goals? Yeah, but I think he's playing fairly well. And I think Gabriel Jesus is someone who needs to score. He hasn't scored for us in I don't, when was the last time he scored? I don't even know.
4 games, I think. 3
So
games.
yeah, I think he needs his confidence. I think he needs minutes. I don't want to say I shouldn't say he needs minutes. I think he needs confidence. And PSV are the best team in the group that we're going to play. So I think you kind of have to play probably I would say he's our best player, or at least he's a leader on the pitch. He's you could see he's deadly in the box. We needed him, and I think playing both of them. It's like it doesn't make sense when you look at it, but then when I talked to myself through it and worked it out, I like the idea. I think Elliot from Arsenal Vision said it, and I retweeted him. I kind of wanted us to play 3-5-2 with seeing our 11. I think we should have played 3-5-2. I think that would have been better for us because Eddie on the left, he was good when he got space, and he was made some good passes, very good with the ball at his feet. I wish he was a little stronger with the ball, but I think if you put him and Jesus in the middle in a front two, I think we probably would have had more dynamism. We probably would have been more effective in finishing those chances. But again, I think when you play with 5 in the midfield, yes, I know you have like 2 wing backs, but you're kind of overloading the middle of the field, which can be good, but then you have to really. You have to dictate the pace of the game. You have to know where to create, because now that Eddie is in the middle with Jesus, that leaves a big gap, kind of like on the sides of the pitch where we excel at playing. So again, it kind of goes back to the argument where it's like, oh, well, I want to play the middle and not the sides. But I think we make our best. We create our best starting from the sides. So kind of can go either way with that. But
and the only other thing that kind of surprised me was it wasn't a 2 up top, and between the two, Eddie and Jesus, that Eddie was the one that got pushed out into the wide position, and we kept Jesus through the middle. I thought excuse me. I just think Jesus. I think Jesus is better out wide than Eddie is. So I would have kept Eddie in his strongest position, which I think is through the middle. But what have we said? But we've been saying it for over a year, pinwheel of death, chaos, whatever term we've coined here for it. These guys, I mean, there was a point where I think Saka and Eddie were both on the left at one point in this game. I think it came after a throw, or it might have come after a corner or something, but it, wasn't within I'll say the course of open play. It was after a stoppage of some kind. But I think Eddie and Saka were both out wide on the left. And Saka eventually drifted back over. But are you disappointed at all? Or you're A-okay with Saka getting the start and playing as much as he did?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't start Martinelli and Saka, so I don't know. I guess I kind of didn't want Saka to start, but I think, looking back now, I think this is our best lineup. I think Saka is what we kind of needed to kind of unlock the defense a little bit, and he created a lot of our chances.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was dribbling through defenders left and right. But to quickly touch on the Eddie and Jesus thing, I agree. I think Jesus is better on the left, but I also think Jesus is better in the middle. So it's like,
yes.
Well, so what do you do? I think, to me, you put Jesus in the middle because, like you said, I think we're gonna need to fight for balls in the middle of the field at some point, and not having Partey, having Sammy Lokonga, who again I think Sammy was fantastic today. I think he played great off the ball. He made some good passes, made really good movements with the ball. The best way to describe it, he needs to be stronger, and whether that's going to the gym or just being smarter with the ball, he needs that strength. And I think that's kind of where Gabriel comes in, and provides some strength. But I liked Eddie on the left because it allowed Jesus to be in the box more, whereas like Eddie was kind of off to the side and like exposing the gaps they're leaving behind their right back. And he was getting the ball into good spaces. He was getting into the box fairly easily. So yeah, I kind of saw what he was doing. I didn't hate it. But again, like I think you can't play Martinelli and you can't play Saka.
Right.
And part of me said play. Part of me was like, at first, I'm like, I don't want to play. I don't want to see either of them.
That's
But
more of what I was getting at.
But it's PSV. So we're paying PSV. We played him today, and we're playing him next week.
Yeah.
I think our best chance of beating him is at home today.
Right.
So I think you have. To me, you have to gamble. You have to play one of them. And no, it's no shot at Southampton. I mean, great. To be fair, we're playing Nottingham Forest, which people would say are probably weaker than Southampton. But I think when you have an easy, I don't want to say easier, but I think the game to really go at PSV is today. I think you want to get it done, and it's the first game against PSV, so you want to just go at them now, get it over with, and that's kind of like the story of our season. We like to score quick, early, get it done, get it over with, get it done and dusted, and have the other team just roll over. And I think that's very similar to how we approach this game, where we're playing them 2 weeks in a row. Let's just get it done out of the way. We're at home. Let's just get this done. And like I said, like we had to gamble, and we chose Saka, which in my opinion, I think was the right decision. So
yeah, the reason that I brought it up was more and everything you just said I agree with, because I think tonight was the time. This was go get these 3 points, now the announcers said something. I'm going to mention this, but let me circle back to it in a minute. Finishing second puts you in a playoff, not a guaranteed advancement into the knockout stages. So let me digress a minute. This assures us of top 2 in the group, which should assure us of a place in the knockout stages. So yes, go get that win tonight at home. We need a point. I think we need a point next week against PSV, and that wins the group for us. So we need a point in one of our last 2 matches. We win the group. And we're at home in the last group stage against Zurich, because we went there in the first group stage game. So we have one more home game yet. So would think this puts us we're really in the driver's seat. Now, let me go back to what I said. What am I missing here? Because I thought the knockout stages was 32, basically round of 32, 2 legs. Am I just mincing words with a playoff into the knockout stage, or did okay?
Because the teams in the Champions League have to drop down, and then I think I don't know. I don't remember because we weren't in Europa last season, so I don't know exactly what they did. But this year, I know the third place team in the groups, they dropped down to the European Conference, so it's almost like kind of similar to the relegation. But yeah, so the second place teams have to play in a playoff, which is one less game for us. So I'm pretty
so we won't play in the round of 32. We'll advance straight into the round of 16. So that's different than from what it was 2 years ago, because it was the top 2 in each group advanced.
Because there's no, I think it was because I could be wrong, but I think it had something to do with the Europa League now. The Europa League conference.
The Europa League conference now, sure.
Maybe I could be wrong. They might have just changed it. I don't really remember. Again, like I didn't pay attention to Europa last year. We weren't involved, but
so the third place teams from Champions League dropped down, but they're an automatic qualifier into how many groups are there? 10? There have to be 10 groups.
No, I think there's 8. You sure there's? Okay, right now I'm looking at the thing right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8. Yeah, 8.
There's only 8 groups. So they eliminated, because there were more groups in Europa League than there were in Champions League as of 2 years ago. There would have been 10. I don't know, maybe 12. There were 12 groups 2 years ago. because that would be so the top 2 teams in each group from 2 years ago. Top 2 teams, that's 24, plus the 8 third place teams from Champions League drop down. That's 32. Off you go.
So it's exactly what
your 32. So we could, because 2 years ago we went straight into it was okay. Group stage is done. Now it's knockout stages is a round of 32. You're saying there's a playoff now, and if you win your group, you go right into the round of 16, which that's fine. That means that's one round we don't have to worry about playing, or 2 matches less or 1 match less, whatever. I don't know, but fantastic either way. BX Gunner, second place, play Champions League drop-offs. That makes sense. If there's 8 groups, there's your playoff. So you'd have 8 winners. 8 winners advance to take on the 8 group stage winners. There's your round of 16. Makes sense. Got it. So that is different from 2 years ago. I didn't realize that. But anyway, so we want to win the group. So there's incentive, for that. But at this point now, we need a point. We're 5 points clear. We need 1 point against PSV next week or Zurich in the final match.
Or just PSV just doesn't beat Bodo Glimt. I mean, but again, I'm not.
Well, that's true too.
That's another way also.
Yep. If they, even if they draw Bodo Glimt. Well, no, we have PSV next week.
All right, so listen, if they beat us and they draw Bodo Glimt, we go on.
Right.
So literally they have to.
We have to lose one of these 2 games for PSV to have a chance to win the group. We get 1 point out of
it.
Our last
they have to win both games. They have to win both games to have a chance.
Right. We beat them next week. This is a moot point.
Or if we talk, even
if we draw, it's a moot point.
It's a moot point,
right?
Yeah.
So we need 1 point. Go get that next week, and So we're talking Southampton on Sunday, then we go again Thursday, and then we go Nottingham Forest.
And it's big. Sunday. And it's big if we can get that draw against PSV because we play Zurich after Nottingham Forest. After that, we have Chelsea.
Right.
So
that's a midweek game, isn't it? Isn't Chelsea midweek?
It's Sunday.
Is it a Sunday?
Yeah,
why was I thinking it was a midweek game?
Because we have Zurich. We have Zurich midweek.
No, but I don't know why. I don't know why I just thought that Chelsea game was a midweek game.
But anyway, so I against Zurich, I literally want to see no starters on our team. Man, obviously, you'll see cameos and stuff. But I want to see the U21s. I want to see our kids. So we need to really have a big game against PSV. And I'm not saying against PSV when we go there play our starting 11, but we need a point out of there because I don't want to have everything riding on the Zurich game. Yes, is Zurich the worst team in the group? Yeah, probably. No, they definitely are. But But I don't want to have to worry about. I want to just play the kids. We're gonna have Chelsea, and I don't feel like doing the math right now. But our game against Zurich is at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. We're playing Chelsea on Sunday at 7 a.m. So games are a few hours closer together, which may not seem like a lot, but any inch helps. So if we could just not have that, that'd be.
I mean, look, I'm content next week, to be honest with you, to give Marquinhos and Eddie and Reece Nelson, throw them in there as the attacking 3 and just. I don't want to say play for the draw, play for the win, but don't take any unnecessary chances. This is a situation next week where 1 point does the job for us. Let's not. I'm not all that keen on. I think Saka needs a rest. I still, even after his performance today, I think Saka needs a rest.
Yeah.
I think he needs a solid week off. I think it would be good for.
I would say that I would play him against Southampton.
Yeah, I'd play him against Southampton. I'm talking 1 week from today, next Thursday. And I'd I'd put him on the bench. I'd give the other 3 guys, be like, go. It's your time to go do the job. Like we've gotten through. We need 1 point. Go get us at least that.
I think this game is too important. I think you have to play Martinelli or Jesus or both even. I can see
you mean against
PSV away.
Yeah.
I think one of them, if not both of them, have to play. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Arteta's thinking, but from my point of view, I think you want the Zurich game to literally have zero meaning for us.
I think, and
you want to just be able to play the kids and just worry about Chelsea. Like
I want it to have zero meaning, but I want it to have zero. But this is pie in the sky stuff. I want it to have zero meaning, but I want it to have zero meaning because the reserves went in and did the job against PSV next Thursday, meaning Marquinhos, Reece Nelson, Eddie, Sambi Lakonga, Fabio Vieira. I mean, it's yes, it would be a reserve-ish lineup, Rob Holding and we're a little, I don't want to say we're a little thin at left back, but or at along the back 4. We can rotate, but we don't have 4 other guys that can go into our back 4 to play right now. So it's either we have 7. Oddly enough, we have 7, 6. We have 6 guys
across our back 4.
Yeah. Ben White, Tomiyasu, Cedric. 7. Make it 7. I forgot about Cedric. Not that I want to see Cedric play, but I'm saying we don't have enough. We don't have enough in the side to completely sub out our entire back 4. You know what I mean? To play an entirely different back 4 next Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see our 11 next week because I think Arteta knows all we need is to draw. So it's like we're not going to go too crazy, but like we have to put a little crazy in just to
make sure that
things make sure we don't lose.
Get crazy.
Yeah. See, I disagree with this. I think we should. Again, I think Arteta, Gabriel Jesus is so vital to our team that I think he's going to play no matter what, and you have to just walk the tightrope. I don't want to see Gabriel Jesus play against Nottingham Forest because I don't want him to not be able to play against Chelsea. I don't mind if, or do you tell Jesus, hey, play Southampton, play your balls off, get a goal, maybe 2 if you want to be lucky, and then get a yellow card. Miss the Nottingham Forest game. That way you're back against Chelsea. Clean slate. Don't worry about it. We're good.
I'm going to play him in
Nottingham Forest without
if I'm going to play him in one of the next 2, if I'm going to give him a match off in one of the next 2 Premier League matches, I'm giving him Forest off. That's the one I'm
and it's so strange too. Like I don't think Nottingham. I don't think is a great team. The thing with Southampton that is. And I'm sure we'll get to it when we kind of almost like semi-preview the game, but they are either gonna play like Leeds, or they're just gonna roll over and just like let us score like 10 on them. I don't know which Southampton is gonna show up. I would like to think, for the most part, they haven't been good this season, but they tend to have a match or 2 in them where they surprise you. James Ward-Prowse will score like a brace of free kicks.
I've been to one of those, by the way.
Yeah, so anything could happen.
It was, I want to say it was like spring of 2019. They came to the Emirates, and I'm fairly certain it was Southampton, and they gave us everything we could handle. I mean, they pretty much it was one of those. Without the pressing that Leeds did on Sunday, that's just the way that we played. We just couldn't string 2 passes together. We couldn't.
And we're at St. Mary's. We're not even home. We're away.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I would play him in this match because if he's going to get that yellow, then he misses Forest by default. And if he doesn't, hopefully we beat Southampton, give him Forest off. And I could tell you I don't think Arteta is going to do that. I think as long as he's available to play, he's going to play him.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, that's which, I would, if it were me, I look at the fixture list and I say, where domestically, where is there a chance to get the fringe players a little bit of time in the Premier League? Where's a game where I could throw a Reece Nelson on to start and I can throw him a bone? And these next two matches, quite frankly, are two that I would look at and say, maybe this is a spot for, not necessarily to start, but and we talked about this the other night with Arteta's substitutions. Man, he's got to start making these substitutions earlier. To me, I mean, it just, I am noticing there's a definite let up around the 65-minute mark for us, where the pressing just doesn't seem to be as pressing from the Department of Redundancy department. We look to be a step, not a step off the pace, but I'd say a step off of our pace, a step off of how we want to play, the tempo we want to play at, and the things we want to do. We seem to just be one step off of it come 65, 70 minutes. And I mean, the good teams are going to bury us in that time frame at 5 to 10 minutes. A good team, City, they're going to bury us. So he's got to start getting better with this. In my opinion, it's the one knock on him now that I have, and I even today, first sub was 72 minutes, I think. It was somewhere around the 70-minute mark.
I think they subbed before the goal, didn't it?
Yeah, the goal.
60. They brought an Odegaard and Partey at 67 minutes.
Was it 60? Okay, so split the difference, because I've always been one to like to see the subs around 60, between 60 and 65. 65 to 70, I guess, isn't the worst thing. It's not the worst thing in the world. So,
I mean, and that's just the way he coaches. I think he knows the team better than us. I'm going to
absolutely
put that out there. I think he knows their fitness levels better than we do. I get that. And a thing for us is, when we have a strong starting 11 that we have, subs you don't need to do. Like when we had Emery and we didn't really. It was funny, like when we went from Wenger to Emery, and that was a thing with Wenger too. That was something I criticized with Wenger all the time. It's like, well, bring on the subs. Like, what are we doing? Bring on subs 70 minutes after, like 70 minutes or later. And I never understood it. And then when we got Emery, like the first few games, he was bringing people, he was hooking people up at halftime. He was making subs at halftime, and I'm like, oh, this is so refreshing. Like I love this. But then, like when you look around the league and then you look at the team that we had when we had Emery, like we were bad. And like teams, in my opinion, for the most part, unless you need to make a severe tactical change, I think the weaker teams are the teams that are subbing at halftime, because their 11 is just not as strong as the teams that they're playing, and just the teams that are like in the top echelon of their respective leagues. But when you have an 11 like we have and everyone's healthy, knock on wood, I understand not making that sub in, and I said this on our show yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever the fuck we talked. Would you rather have like a Marquinhos, or would you rather have a tired Saka? And like, I'd rather have a tired Saka. Like, obviously, like the subbing for us and for our team is more for to rest, obviously, but you don't want injuries. You don't want something happening to one of our 11 players in like the 70th minute when you could have easily had brought him off. Because I love Reece Nelson, and I think Marquinhos is going to be a great player too. They're not there yet, I will, and that's another conversation of will Reece Nelson ever get there as an Arsenal player? I don't know, but I think it's just we're just kind of going to go along for the ride until the ride breaks down. And I don't hate it, because I think our 11 is just so good, and I think it's just a testament to the team, a testament to Arteta, and a testament to our training. Because I agree. I don't think we're playing our best in the 65th minute, but I don't think we're getting battered. I don't think it's as, at least for me, I don't think it's as evident that we need to make subs in the Arteta era than it was during the Wenger era. And I think it's because I think it comes down to just the way Arteta has us playing and like the structure he has us in. It kind of holds everybody accountable. And it's like if Saka's tired, okay, Ben White, you need to step it up. Okay, Ben White, you tired, okay, Saliba. Like it's so many cogs in this machine, and if they're all working as one, if one's like slowing down, the machine's still going to keep working.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I fear Murphy's Law. You know what I mean? And it's a law that your wife actually did make up, by the way.
She's not a Murphy anymore.
Well, this is true. She's not. No, I fear the it's going well, it's going well, it's going well, it's going fine, it's going fine, it's going fine. Okay, we're weathering it now, and bang, there's the goal. And it's like,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it's kind of sputtering along, maybe you need a little tune-up, or maybe you need to do something to refresh it a little bit. Not against everybody, but I would say, City. Okay, so we're probably going to switch gears here for a minute, but I'll say this: I legitimately think that we are a title contender at this point.
Jesus. Okay. We're going there. All right. Okay.
If we've beaten Liverpool at home, and at no point in that game did we look second best. We looked second best for stretches here and there, but 5-minute stretches. By and large, we're the better team in that match. The better team against the shitbags up the road for the whole game. We don't lose our mind in the box and concede the penalty. That's a clean sheet. We're better than United. It just they just knew we were found out. Our weakness was exposed against United. In the counterattack, if we play the high line that we play, and we come up against a team that can hit on the counter the way they can, we got found out. So it's like, okay, now we know our weakness. Now we go fix it. Yes, there are going to be games where, could Southampton look? You said that you said Saturday we were due against Leeds for one of those games.
Why are we bringing this up again?
No, I'm
kidding. I'm kidding.
And the thing is, you were right. We by rights should have lost that game. We did.
I don't agree with that, but okay.
I mean, they had their chances, right?
They didn't capitalize.
Right. But we're going to have a game or two, maybe 3, I think, where, we play down to the level of our opponent. Might be Southampton this weekend. Who knows? But overall, I think it's should I just shut up? Because now I'm like, man, I don't want to jinx it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut up now.
It's good.
I think you guys all know where I was going with this. So use your imaginations. Enough said. I don't know what got me. I don't now remember what got me into that. We were talking about substitutions. And I think this is what I was going to say. Basically, that our worst enemy in the league right now is twofold: City and ourselves. So if anybody's going to beat us and beat us soundly, it could be City, who you give them an inch, they will take the mile, or we'll beat ourselves. Whether it be Arteta getting something wrong, whether it be the players, obviously, them getting something wrong, I don't know. But so with the substitutions thing, that's what worries me with Arteta is does he, excuse me, does he get into a pattern of not making the subs till the 75th minute. And because we've gotten away with it, all of a sudden we don't get away with it. And that moment I think would come against City. It could come against, look, we have the shit bags in January. Again, they're like our third or fourth game back after the World Cup break. And who knows what happens there. I mean, right now we say we should go up there and walk all over them. Who knows? And I just don't want if there's going to be an undoing in a match this season, I don't want it to be because of a self-inflicted wound. So that's all I'm saying on the substitutions thing. What I don't know. What do you? I mean, I've kind of steered you in directions here. You got anything that you wanted to talk about from the game?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, I think it, and I said this kind of earlier. I think it's very understated how I think we played so well. It was just getting that final touch on the ball. I think like I said, Eddie and Sambi, I think need to be a little bit stronger. I think Sammy played great. He got muscled off the ball a few times, but it's tough because the player that Arteta wants to play in that six, like a Thomas Partey, like he's a big dude, and I think he doesn't easily get muscled off the ball. But if I were to describe Thomas Partey to somebody, I wouldn't call him physical. I wouldn't say he's a big six. He's a bigger guy. He's going to control the ball. He can make interceptions. He can make ball recoveries. He's very good with the ball at his feet. Sambi can be that player now. Do we want him to be? Does Arteta want him to be? Or does Arteta ideally want him as Xhaka's replacement as a left 8? I don't know. And I think come January, come the summer, we're going to find out. Douglas Luiz re-upped at Villa, which I'm actually happy about. I don't really. I get the Douglas Luiz play in the summer, and I actually think I definitely would have been more happy with getting him in the summer than I am with getting him in January. I keep flirting with this idea that Sambi needs a loan, and everyone. I'm very curious what you think about it, because I think we may have even talked this in Philly. I don't even remember, but we need someone that could play minutes for Partey, because Partey's we don't want to play him as much as we can. We want someone equal to his skill set that we could kind of just have him sit and not come on. Like I really didn't want to see Partey come on in this game, but all right, like you kind of need to give him some minutes, and I don't know if Sammy's it. I think he can be it, and he will be it. It's just a matter of A, where, and B, when. Because personally, I think we need to find him. I lean more towards we need to find him alone to a team, but it's tough because you got to find him alone in one of the top leagues in Europe, and you got to find him a team where he's going to play week in, week out. And then on top of that, you have to find him a team that plays our style.
That plays him in the role that we want him to play, with the responsibilities
I think that's easier said than done. I think it's going to be tough to find.
It is.
So I don't know. But then if that happens, we need someone to come in.
This is where I look at exactly. And this
hopefully
is
then he's back in December, like they say. But then it's like, how he's been gone for so long. Like, can we just throw him back in there? Like,
this is where
I think God. So I think we can. But
this is where I think the rotation that I think Arteta still has to learn. And we talked about this the other night about trust. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody said that Arteta doesn't trust Sambi, doesn't trust certain players. He has to. If he doesn't trust them, he can't hand them a shirt on the day. So he obviously trusts Sambi Lokonga. I just don't think we've seen exactly what he wants Sambi Lokonga to give us. And I don't know. I don't know what that is. He's definitely not a Martin Odegaard. He's not a 10. I don't even know that he's in an advanced 8, kind of like what Xhaka's doing right now. I don't know that he's that even. I think translates more to what Thomas Partey does, a little less defensively apt, if you will. But I think everything you just laid out, the circumstances under which we'd accept a loan, got to go to one of the top leagues. Okay, we can figure that out. But got to go to a team where he's going to play. And that team has to be looking for a player like that plays the way we play, or at the very least would play him the way we want to play him. So that being said, I would be looking at doing what we're doing right now, which is great. He starts these Europa League matches, but I think he's got to get some time in the Premier League too. Arteta can't be afraid to play him against a Nottingham Forest, against a Southampton, against a team you look at and you just say, we have enough. We should be beating these guys. We should beat Southampton. We should beat Nottingham Forest. When I'm racking my brain here, trying to think of the other teams that are down there that, and I'd play them at home. I wouldn't play them on the road. I'd play them at home in the league. So the loan thing, it's a double-edged sword, man. There are pros and there are cons. The cons, we're not in charge of his playing time. We're not in charge of the style of the role that he's going to play when he goes on loan. The pros are, hopefully, he gets the playing time, but none of the pros we can guarantee, which turns them all into cons. So, the Sambi look, I feel like we could do an entire show just talking about him, just his profile and how we would deploy him and what, and like you said, I mean, he's got to get bigger too, right? He's got to get a little bit more physical. I mean, Partey is bigger than he is. Partey is more mature than he is, which is to say more mature as in, just his body mass. He's had longer to build it up, So I think if Sambi can build himself up a little bit more, needs more playing time, get a little bit more mature, I think we've got a player there for sure. So,
yeah, I mean, to keep it simple with me is right now, I think he's best suited to us as an 8, but Arteta doesn't care about right now. I think Arteta cares about him as a player. He cares about his development.
Yeah.
And I think Lukaga has said in multiple interviews he sees himself as a 6. And I think Arteta says, okay, I could definitely make you into a 6. He's got very similar qualities to Partey. I think the strength isn't really there yet. So I think he wants to mature him into a 6. So if you ask me right now, what should he play? Left 8. In the long run, what's he going to play? If he makes it here at Arsenal, I could definitely see him being Partey's replacement for sure. Question is, will he be around that long? I don't know. And I alluded to this on our last show where he said it in an interview. I'm again paraphrasing, but he essentially was the way he's acting is he just seems as if like, well, if they don't need me, I don't need them. I don't want to play for them. He wants the pressure. He wants everyone to rely on him. He wants to be an important figure in the locker room and on the pitch. And the way we're building this team, we don't need that. We don't need someone that we need to rely on. Like, granted, yeah, like someone like a Gabriel Jesus, he's going to have to bear that burden because, we've had trouble putting balls in the back of the net, up top. So obviously he's going to be important. Thomas Partey is what makes us tick. Like, I get that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you read it, and I don't know if anyone in the chat has read Sambi's interview, but it's an eye-opening one. It's very interesting. Hopefully he can kind of curb his expectations a little bit because the team's obviously going to come first, but he needs to just mature. He needs to grow a little bit. It's going to take time. I don't know how much time he has because, again, going back to you, he said he called his agent at the end of last season and he was looking to see if there was potential move away. And his agent was like, no, stick around. We'll figure this out. And he said, all right, yeah, I'll give it one more season. I mean, let's see, because we don't really need him. Obviously, knock on wood, we don't really have to solely rely on him. But I mean, time will tell. El Nenny's not coming back until I think the earliest they said was, sometime in December. So I just hope we can keep all parties happy because I think Lakanga can definitely be a part-time replacement. He's just got to stick around, learn his craft, and kind of deal with the growing pains a little bit.
Just mature. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And a mature player will realize, where this is in, where he is in the pecking order. So, yeah, we're just about out of time here. Let's talk about man of the match. What do you got?
For me, it was actually kind of difficult. But yeah, if I had to pick, I kept going back and forth between two, but I ended up going with Saka. I think Saka, just every time he got the ball, he left people in his wake, and it was just I do think it was probably one of his best games in an Arsenal shirt, at least for a while. I don't want to say ever, but it's just the control he has on the ball. He was dribbling past them like it wasn't a big deal. He was always finding space. He's getting into the box. He was unlocking Eddie. He was unlocking Jesus. And that's what we need from him. And he did well. I mean, I wish he scored a goal. He didn't. And credit to Xhaka. That was such a nice goal. The control, the touch he had. We saw it was kind of almost like a foreshadowing. I guess I don't know what a reverse foreshadowing is, but we saw quite a few players. I know Kieran Tierney had one, Eddie had one, and Gabriel trying on the half volley, and they just punted it off, like not even close. No one was close. And then Xhaka just, instead of kind of volleying, he kind of hits it down and away, and it was just it was really good to see. And I obviously thought Xhaka played great. I know Ray Anderson says Xhaka should have got the man of the match. And scoring the only goal in the game was a really big game for us. I don't disagree with you. That yellow card that he got early on, or I should say late in the first half, it kind of annoyed me. Probably could have gave it to Xhaka had he not got that obligatory yellow card that he always loves to get. I know that's something that we're probably never going to shake out of him. And I'm nitpicking. And don't get me wrong, I love Xhaka now, and he's back on my Christmas card list. But I can't. Every time he does it, I just get enraged. I can't help myself.
I get it. But I will give it to Granit Xhaka the goal. Obviously, but and Saka. I mean, everything you said about Saka, there's no argument there. I'll be honest. I'm just being different. I think I agree with Ray. With Ray Anderson, it's got to be one of those two. Everything you just said about Saka, but Granit Xhaka is just right now, he's on a different level than what he's been with this team since he got here. I think this is the best that I've ever seen Granit Xhaka play, and I don't know that there's a soul out there that would argue that point. But the yellow card, like you said, he has it in him. He just has it in him. I will say, as I watched that game, the one thing I did keep thinking about it because it kind of stuck in my craw, but I'm like, I saw other physical moments where I'm like, wait, how's that not a card? If you're going to give it to Xhaka for what he did, there were other moments in the game both ways. There were other moments in the game both ways that I thought were if Xhaka was worthy of the yellow when he got it, I thought there were maybe two or three other moments that were worthy of a card, and I think only one got produced. So, but he has it in him, but he's just on a different level right now. And everyone in this team is showing how invaluable they are to the success of this football club. But the nice thing is that the guys coming in off the bench, or some of the guys that are getting the fringe players that are getting the starts in games like today, they're showing that they're not far off the pace either. We have guys that, and it's a good problem to have, but we have players who just, boy, it's getting to a point where I'm starting to feel like if we lose one, the wheels could really come off this thing. It's a good thing on the one hand. It's also a bad thing because it does go sort of to the depth that we still to a degree lack. But Granit Xhaka for me was the man of the match, and he just keeps putting in these man of the match performances that you just you walk away talking about Granit Xhaka and how great he was going forward and tracking back defensively and not losing his head to the tune of a red card, a stupid red card. So
yeah. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Eddie. Eddie was probably my other person. Eddie, I thought played. You talked about having a problem and having people come off the bench and do put shifts in. I think he was great. He tracked back defensively. He was great with the ball. I think he megged a few players. Fancy stuff. He's got an eye for goal, and I think
just has to get that finishing touch.
Finishing touch. He could be a little. There was a few chances where I think he could be a little stronger with the ball or on the ball. It's tough though because when you come through, if you're known as a forward, you're known as a striker. People want goals. And yeah, he didn't score it, but in my opinion, I think he did everything else.
Right.
So that's why I give a shout out to Eddie, and it's tough. It's tough when you're fixated in a position. Whether you're keeper is different, but like if you're a defender, if you don't let goals in, you're great, and if you're forward, score goals and you're great. It's like, well, no, especially with the way we play in our system, Eddie doesn't need to score goals at will for him to be effective and good in our system. I thought Eddie was fantastic today, and he didn't score. And I think he flubbed a few chances, which he needs to be better. And I'm not excusing him, and I'm not, cleaning his slate. He's got to be better. But I like the type of player he is. I think he could definitely offer something for us on the wing, which is not something that I would say to you when I saw Jesus and Eddie together in this 11 right before the match. So that's definitely refreshing to see and good to see. And hopefully he could build on that because we're going to need him at some point to really come through.
For sure. I think we'll leave it there. We're at about an hour. This is a pretty good spot, I think, for us to knock off. We didn't get into too much of a preview of Southampton, but I think we touched on it enough, to warrant a little bit of a preview. But anyway, thanks for coming on, being there after the game. Good deal. Like I say, we're going to get back into doing this a little bit more often, more frequently. We've both been away for a while. Haven't been on. Oh, look who decided to show up. And you know what? I bet he's gone. Already too. Like this is Greg's thing now, where he shows up, he hangs for 2 minutes, and then I got to go home. I'm sorry.
To be fair, he thought you were coming back. He thought you were coming back, and you never did. So that's on you.
Missed you, buddy. I was happy to see you on Friday. Was that Friday? That was Friday night. Yeah. So, but yeah, stay tuned to the Twitter accounts at Arse Bros Ryan, at the Bearded Gooner. It's all down in the description of the video. The Twitter handles are down there. That's where you can find us. My voice is starting to go now. But please, if you aren't already, subscribe to the channel. Drop us an interaction, a like or a dislike. I don't really care. I don't think Ryan does either. But just drop something. Don't be a freeloader. That's about it. That's all I got. We are Sunday. You will catch the match on replay. You'll be at work on Sunday.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. I might have a post game after the Southampton match. I'll have to talk to some folks, see if anybody wants to come on. Might be that, but I think Ryan and I can work something out. We will be back together next week. Like I say, stay tuned. We'll figure out details on that. But anyway, Ray Anderson, Daniel Shaw, Greg, obviously, who just showed up late. DX Gunner was in there. Russ Morgan, Mask Gunner. Alexander G was in there. Sam Greenwood, thanks for poking your head in there, Sam. Appreciate it. Good to see you. and everybody else in the chat, everybody else watching on replay. Thank you guys all very much. That is going to be it for us. Stay tuned to the Twitter. That's where you will see where the next show will be. If you're subscribed, click the bell on the screen. That way you'll get the alert for when we go live again. And that's it. Anything else? Famous last words? All right. That's it for us. See you on the flip side.